like you are aware, sometime in November, this budget was presented to the Honorable House for consideration, and it was committed to the Committee on Appropriation. The laying of the budget by His Excellency to the House marked first reading, and after second reading, it will be committed to the committee, and then that is what has been done. And initially, what happened? He submitted a budget of 535 billion and some hundreds of millions thereabout as budget submitted by the Executive Council as adopted during the State Executive Council meeting. And you know, there's always this beauty of democracy, separation of powers. So the State House of Assembly also has a right to just look into the budget and see where it has not been adequately captured or over-captured, or maybe some mistakes made within the budget. When we're going through, we had bilateral discussions when we invited all the MDAs to come and make their presentation. But we have a foundation based on the medium-term expenditure framework submitted to the State House of Assembly, which captured inflation, exchange rate, crude oil being produced per day, and then the price of even crude oil in the market, which gives us an expectation of our inflow for the year. Then we consider our independent revenue. After looking at all those things, we now decide that, okay, we should invite the Committee on Finance to come and give us a brief of what we expect for the year. After that, then we now subsequently invite the remaining ministry, which we made observations during the budget defense that especially other omissions, like now our Accountant General's office omission, they had a bilateral discussion with the Office of the Budget, but they omitted their revenue to the tune of 700 million naira, which is due to interest accrued for the state in bank transactions. And then there are other omissions within the state that were not captured during the budget bilateral negotiations with the ministries. So as a result of that, we captured all those expenditure that is supposed to be an income for the state. And there are other, in terms of recurrent expenditure under health. We have a proposed sum of 22.5 billion naira, 22,500 million naira to be precise, on HOPE project, which is a project that is going to be financed by Bloomberg, the Gates Foundation, and other development partners that will come up with the tune of 22,500 million naira. And it was not initially captured by the budget document, and that is because that has not been negotiated with the state before, and it is for performance for reward project. So as a result of that, that also has been considered by the committee. And like you know, after budget presentation, His Excellency, being the chairman of the Northern Governors Forum, had a meeting with other governors of the 19 northern states, and they all agreed that they are going to have an estimate of at least 1 billion naira as contribution to security. So that was done after budget presentation, and for the state to commit to oblige those obligations, they have to have that budgetary provision. So, and 1 billion times 12 is 12 billion naira, and there was that increase of 12 billion naira within the state. So those were some additions made, which gave an addition of 24 billion 500 million naira as recurrent expenditure increase, and then 57 billion naira and some hundreds of million naira as increase in the capital expenditure, which gives a total of 82 billion 261 million naira as the difference between what His Excellency has submitted in those two particular line items and what has been approved by the committee. And then that made the budget to increase from the proposed sum of 535 billion naira to the approved sum of 617 billion naira by the Committee of Wages and Supply, and then the Honorable House generally. Thank you. Yes, it is during it is a law that has been passed by this House, and when we're considering those laws, we did not factor Ministry of Energy into those revenue collecting agencies. So that is why we are trying to now see how we're going to call back the law that was passed by this assembly and make amendment in order to include the Ministry of Energy in it, so as to make them optimally collect revenue on behalf of the state.
And how responsible have you been to the yearnings of the constituents because of this rigorous assignment? Have you taken your time to go to the constituencies to hear from the people as you aggregate all these ideas?
If we'll do justice to this administration, even before even saying anything, the constituents know what His Excellency is all about. He is all about the yearnings and aspirations of our constituents. There's no any particular ward that has not seen the dividend of democracy in the leadership of His Excellency Alhaji Muhammadu Inuwa Yahya, and that is in also line with the renewed hope agenda of Mr. President. So he has keyed in the renewed hope agenda of Mr. President in order to make sure that at least the sufferings of masses has been relieved. And if you go around, you will see the establishment of healthcare centers in all the wards. You will see network of roads which has improved economic activities, because there are economic roads that has to link up with their markets and their farms. And you know, as agrarian state, he is very much concerned about that. And he has now in this budget said that, okay, let there be empowerment. So there's a lot of empowerment programs that has been in this budget. And by God's grace, during implementation, you'll all see that, and all our constituents will be happy about that.
Thank you very much.